Hello everyone, and welcome to our tutorial today with the Putnam County District Library. I'm Addie, and today I'm going to be talking you through how to report fraud. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, website to report fraud. The FTC uses and shares this data from these reports with more than 3,000 of their law enforcement partners in order to help with investigations and bring cases against fraud, scams, and bad business practices. They do mention in their website that they cannot resolve an individual's report, but they will use the data to try and help stop future fraud. Okay, so they would like to track this data. So I'm going to say that again. They cannot resolve an individual's report. They can't fix it for you or get your money back, but they will use the data from your experience to try and help prevent future fraud. So I'm going to pull up the FTC's website. It is reportfraud.ftc.gov, and I'm going to walk you through and introduce you to the website a little bit so it looks familiar. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here we can see is the reportfraud.ftc.gov website. So it is the Federal Trade Commission, reportfraud.ftc.gov, and there's the official seal of the Federal Trade Commission. So I'm going to begin by showing you how to fill out a report. That's probably the most important thing that you'd want to do coming onto this website. So I think this is kind of helpful. Here at the top, they have this light blue bar that says COVID-19 scams, report here, or the darker blue underneath, it says price gouging, report here. So they try to put some of the most commonly reported scams right here at the top for you to click on. So if somebody's calling you or texting you or emailing you about something to do with COVID-19 and you think it's a scam, then you can report it right here. So they give you kind of a quick access link. So we're going to scroll down beyond that right now. And over here on the right hand side, it says report to help fight fraud. Report now. I'm going to click on that blue report now button. And it gives you the bar along the top here for your status as you're moving through the questions, how far along you are, how far you have to go yet. So it says, is your report about any of these common problems? Choose the best fit. If you don't see your problem, choose something else. So something else is this very last option, and it says we'll get it to the right place. So even if you don't see your specific fraud or scam experience listed here, still report it. Just click on something else and it'll let you outline what happened and tell the story of what happened, and then they will sort it based off of your experience. So I'm going to use an example of a call that I got last week that was pretending to be my bank. So for me, I'm going to click on this very first one where it says an impersonator. Example, fake government, business, love, interest, or grandchild. I just want to make sure that there's no other better options here. I don't think so. And it also mentions further in the website, I'm going to talk to you about this in a little bit, but just an annoying call can also be a good fallback. If you don't know or don't want to take a lot of time filling it out, you can click on just an annoying call, and that's another great option. They just want you to report it. So I'm going to click on an impersonator, and then you can see it filled in down below. Who were they pretending to be? Government authority, grandchild, well-known or trusted business. That's the one that I'm going to click on because right there at the bottom, the last option they give, the last example is bank. So I'm going to click on bank, or sorry, I'm going to click on well-known or trusted business. In my case is the bank. And then I'm going to click on the blue continue button at the bottom. So then I'm going to report the details. It says, please share as much as you know. The details help law enforcement investigations. You can choose how much you report, how much information you give. I think you do have to fill in a few of the answers so that the system can register it as legitimate. But you choose how much information you want to give. So did the scammer offer to fix a problem with your computer? No. Did the scammer, did you send the scammer payment of any kind? No. Luckily that did not happen. Did the scammer ask you to pay or send money? No, in this case it did not. So as I'm filling these in, it's filtering what kind of questions it asks based off of my answers. So how did I first learn about the scam? Well, they contacted me through a phone call. So there are so many options. These are all ways that scams can try to reach you. So you click the one that best fits your scenario, your experience. So I'm going to click on phone call. What was the number you were asked to call back? If any, that does not apply. Please select all telemarketing violations that apply. I am on the national do not call. Nope, the call was a recorded message or robocall, not this time. No caller ID information was displayed. That's true. And I think the rest of these do not apply. And then when did I encounter the scam? That was, let's see, today is Tuesday, the 28th. So that was last Thursday, I believe, the 23rd. So details about the scammer, please share as much as you know. What company did they pretend to be? They didn't give a specific company. I don't have their first or last name. Do I know any other information about them? No. They just pretended to be a bank. So then I'm going to describe real quickly what happened in my own words. It says include specific details you remember. Do not include any sensitive information such as your social, date of birth, driver's license numbers, account numbers, medical history, etc. So phone call came in on my cell phone reporting to me that there were suspicious charges on my bank account, and could I verify for them if those charges were fraudulent or legitimate. I did not move forward with the questions or the call, but instead hung up the phone. Okay, that's all I'm going to put. You can put as much as you want to. Like it says, the more details you have, the better about the call, but that was pretty much it. So then you can say, are you filing this report for someone else? If you click on yes, it makes you, or it asks you to provide your information and then below the person you are filing a report for. So I'm going to leave that on no. And then you can put in your information, your first name, your last name, if you want to, your contact information. And I believe you can submit without any of that. So if you don't want to put your information in there, you don't have to. If you choose to put your name and your contact information in there, the FTC may contact you for further information if it's, you know, a case that they feel like they need to follow up on for data reasons, but you don't have to. My report was submitted successfully, and thank you for helping our work to protect consumers. So it says this is my report number. So if you give your information to them in order to allow them to contact you back, they may ask you for your report number, or they may tell you your report number. So if you are, you know, open to that, amenable to that, then you may want to write this report number down just to have it as a reference number for you. For me, it says the report will not be available after you exit this page. I could review my report. I don't really need to, but you could. And then it says your next steps. So it outlines what you can do to protect yourself the next time. So for example, if you want to stop getting so many unwanted calls, you can hang up on robocalls. You can also click on this link, ftc.gov/calls, for further information on how to protect yourself against specifically robocalls. It says if you press any numbers, you might get even more calls. So just hang up. Don't say anything. Don't type anything. Just hang up. So it further, you know, gives you these different scenarios. If you think a scammer has your information, if you gave your username and password, if someone calls and offer to help you, So then it says what happens next. Your report will help us in our efforts to protect all consumers. Thank you. We can't resolve your individual report, like I mentioned earlier in my intro, but they do use the reports to investigate and bring cases against fraud, scams, and bad business practices as a whole. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this website, I'm going to click out of this. Like I said, if you want to keep track of your report number in case they contact you, you can double check and verify that it is legitimate. They will give you that report number. You can verify it with your records before giving them any further information. You can do that. The other thing I wanted to mention that I think is really helpful is this button right here at the top right, the FAQs. So if I click on FAQs, they have all different kinds of sections. So FAQs by topic. So a couple of the ones that I found to be really helpful. One is what happens to my report, which is down here after I file a report. What happens to my report? It goes into the FTC's Consumer Sentinel database, which is available to federal, state, and local law enforcement. Like I mentioned earlier in the intro, the FTC uses these reports to investigate and bring cases against fraud, scams, and bad business practices. It also uses them to spot trends, educate the public, and share data about what is happening in your community. You can check out what is going on in your state or metro area by visiting this website right here, ftc.gov/explore data. So I'm just going to mention a couple of the FAQs that I found helpful. You are obviously welcome to go in and explore further. They cover a lot of good information. Another one that they mention in here, what can I do about robocalls? The FTC analyzes complaint data and trends to identify illegal callers based on calling patterns. The FTC takes the phone numbers you report and releases them to the public each business day. This helps phone carriers and others that are working on call blocking solutions. Your report can also help law enforcement identify the people behind illegal calls. Can I report spam texts and emails here? Yes. Look for the category that your spam email or text would fit into. If you don't find one, choose that something else option that we saw and talked about briefly earlier. Please paste the message into the comments field of your report. So if someone sends you a text, you can copy that text message directly into the FTC's chat, the little box that we typed our story into. You can directly copy and paste that message into there for them, so they have the exact words and verbiage that the spammer used. And then the final one I wanted to mention, perhaps you have somebody who isn't tech savvy but is getting spam calls or messages. Can you report for someone else? Well, you can see already I showed you that you can indeed report for someone else. You'll be able to say that you're reporting on behalf of them. You can give them their information and your information if you choose. Therefore, they can potentially reach out and get further information from you about that specific spam. So I just thought this was a nice resource page for people. I know we all get really frustrated by those spam calls and texts and emails and everything else. And this is a place you can go and tell your story and potentially prevent further harm to yourself or others. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.